How's it guys, Munash here, back with more Alliance War. So I'm back at home now after having a nice little break. I hope you guys also had a good festive season and also a good start to the new year. I know I certainly couldn't wait for 2020 to end because yeah, I kind of just wanted to give it a big old doom slap and just move on. But yeah, anyway, back to today's war. We are in the third war of season 23 and today I'm going with Archangel. And I'm going to bring in the rank 3 Warlock for the first time. And I'm also going to bring in Falcon for the first time, who I now have as a rank 2 6-star Sig 20, because I managed to dupe him twice in a row from the featured 6-star crystals, which I was quite happy about because I think he's a pretty good champ now, you know, after the rework. So I was looking forward to getting to use him in Alliance War. Okay, so let's jump on to part 5. And first off, we have this HitMonkey with Ebb and Flow Knockdown and Power Drain. So this is a pretty good matchup for Archangel because, you know, you can knock him down without really worrying about the repercussions that you'd usually have to deal with. So my strategy for HitMonkey using Archangel is I actually want to do basic combos first. Just to get a few bleeds on him before knocking him down. Because when you do knock him down, it can purify, a stun, or a damaging debuff. So it's only after I get a bleed on him, then I parry to get the poison, and now I can heavy for the neurotoxin, which will also knock him down and disable the ebb and flow node. But because it's also lowering ability accuracy, I also don't always get the fury passive from it. But yeah, now it's a very easy fight with Archangel, and he's gonna just melt away now from a few neurotoxins. Also, his health pool is pretty low, so yeah, this fight wasn't gonna take long anyway, even if I wasn't able to disable Ebb and Flow. Okay, now we have Mordo with Ebb and Flow Knockdown and Heavy Hitter. So once again, this is a pretty good matchup for Archangel because he can actually parry heavy without any repercussions once again, so Mordo can't actually astral evade just due to Archangel's heavy animation. So he does actually astral evade, but the second hit of his heavy comes out so quickly that he can't actually complete the evade. So it's basically interrupted before you can actually retaliate or counter. So yeah, that just makes managing this fight a hell of a lot easier. Archangel is definitely one of the best counters for it. Also, Mordo is immune to passive ability accuracy reduction, which means that you won't have to worry about not getting the fury from Ebb and Flow even if you have a lot of neurotoxins. You just need to be aware of his power gain because that can be a little bit annoying if he's a little bit too passive and you can't get in a combo quickly enough. But yeah, if you base specials early enough, then you should be fine. So I do drop a couple of basic combos, you know, just to play around the power gain. So usually I would use Doom for this fight because, you know, he just controls it really well. Almost nothing can go wrong because you got power control and you can knock him down pretty easily without getting astral evaded. But I brought Archangel instead because he's just better for the other fights that I used him on. Then right at the end I do get clipped, unfortunately, just a small step up on me. I actually didn't think he could reach me from there, but yeah, not a big deal, and he goes down. Okay, so that's my section 1 taken care of, and now I'm going to apply the first set of boosts for this war as we get into section 2, and this is where the fights get a bit more interesting. Now we have this Ebb and Flow Intercept Nova, and this is going to be the first Falcon fight. So I decided to use some skill boosts because I wanted to see how much power you'd get back, you know, with the Ebb and Flow node. But I didn't really quite prepare for this fight or just prepare for using Falcon in general because I actually have never used my 6-star rank 2 before this moment. I have a rank 4 5-star which I used, and I didn't even use the 6-star at rank 1 because I had the rank 4 duped. So you see why those boosts weren't really that useful a bit later. So I go and I just want to parry and then hold block, you know, just to scan and get the lock on. And now I have that pretty nice crit damage. Then I just backdraft and intercept with the light attack, which removes the protection from Ebb and Flow. However, I did not get the Fury passive from intercepting. And at first I didn't know why, and then later on I realized that it's probably because of the ability accuracy reduction, because, you know, I suppose getting hit is sort of a defensive thing. So that was just a little bit annoying that I didn't get the extra damage, so I was hoping that my special 2 would do a bit more damage with the Intercept Fury. But yeah, without it, it wasn't going to do that much damage anyway, and that's kind of why those boosts were sort of a waste, because also Falcon's special damage isn't really the highest, you know. he's not really a champ who relies on special attacks for damage, you know. It's more like Aegon in the sense that all his attacks or all his hits do a good amount of crit damage. And I'm talking about an Aegon without any fury buffs. The special 2 does hit harder than all his other hits, but it's not like a crazy amount where you're going to gain a good amount of power back when you use power boosts. So it's a bit unfortunate that if you intercept while locked on, you won't gain the fury passive. However, the really cool thing about using Falcon for ebb and flow is that he can actually completely shut down the node. Because I don't know if you noticed, but the protection never came back throughout the fight. And also, Falcon's ability accuracy reduction will prevent Nova from auto-blocking your intercept. So yeah, it's a pretty good counter for this fight. Alright, now we're going to move on to the Sasquatch, again with ebb and flow intercept, but this one also has Redoubled determination. So now I'm actually going to swap for tech boost here, and because I'm going to use Warlock, and what I didn't realize at this stage is that I actually don't have any more tech power boosts, which was a little bit problematic for the next fight. You know, that's where I really needed that boost. So I was actually looking around, checking my boost. I'm like, wait, where's my tech power boost? Should be here, shouldn't it? And yeah, I just couldn't find it. I thought, you know what, this is actually crazy, and then I realized that I actually don't have any more because I used them all when I was doing my legend run for Act 7. So yeah, that was a bit of a fail. So I'm just gonna go into this fight without it, and yeah, I wasn't really worried about this fight. You know, it's more the next fight that I was worried about. So this is a fight that I would much rather have Human Torch for, because, you know, he just shreds this fight so quickly. But yeah, I figured Warlock should do pretty well as well. It'll just take a bit longer with him. But what I do like about using Warlock for intercepting nodes is that he actually is a champ who is very good, or just easy for intercepting, you know, just due to his animations. So yeah, I would have liked to have the special 2 boost, and then, you know, just throw back-to-back special 2s hopefully, or at least get 1 bar of power back after throwing a special 2. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to do it without, which might take a little bit longer. Alright, so now he enters Wrath of Teknoaxe, so I can't stun him anymore. And he will go unstoppable when he throws a heavy attack or a special. Okay, but at least I can drop a special 2, which takes a bit of time. So I just have to avoid him for a little bit. Then he throws his own special 2, and then Wrath enters cooldown. Back to the cycle. I can parry him again. And yeah, now I just need to bait a special attack and then intercept, just to get a bit more damage. Sometimes it takes a bit of time to give me an opening, but, you know, just gotta be patient with it. Then eventually it will happen. Okay, so I get the passive fury, throw another special 2. And that was at 50% health. So yeah, this fight isn't going very quickly, but it is still pretty comfortable. You know, we have 97% health, so it is going pretty well. And yeah, like I said, I would prefer having Human Torch for this fight, but I actually needed Warlock more for the next fight, and I figured he can also do this fight, so I should bring him instead. Okay, now I need to bait a special 1 more time. Okay, Wrath goes into cooldown once again. And I'm not even going to try to intercept now. I'm just going to let it happen sort of naturally when it can. Just carry on hitting him. And I do want to play fairly aggressively to just maintain those infections, to make sure that he can't regen. And yeah, fortunately playing pretty aggressively and, you know, just parrying a lot allows you to pull up a good amount of infections. And I actually would have liked to use a special 3 just to heal him up a little bit, but it's really unnecessary for this fight. And I don't mind just using a health potion instead. So I just want to maintain at least 1 infection until he goes down, because now he's basically constantly regenerating. But the nice thing about that is it means he's going to be power drained throughout the fight now. Okay, so he goes down. That one took just over 3 minutes, but otherwise not that bad. Didn't lose that much health. And yeah, I really would have liked to have the power boost for it, but yeah, not too bad. Alright, now we have Immortal Abomination on Ebb and Flow Intercept, Redoubled Determination, and Crumbling Armor. So yeah, I fought an I-Bomb in the previous war on the previous node, but that one wasn't awakened and I used Shiok for it. But I figured Warlock should also work well, just being poison immune and also having some power control. The main thing is you want to get the initial intercept pretty early in the fight so that when you do disable ebb and flow and then it does come back, you will purify all those poison debuffs. But I just did not do that main thing. I don't know what happened. I guess I just underestimated how much power he would gain from having all those poison debuffs on him. And then it became very difficult to actually intercept because he was gaining so much power just from a few hits. So if that was the first special one, gets those poison debuffs on him and now like 3 hits and he's already at 1 bar of power. And I'm like, maybe I should just ignore the intercept node because the power drain is quite interesting here. Maybe I can just throw some nice special 2s if I were to intercept, but if I can't intercept, then I can just throw some average special 2s and just endure the long fight as long as I don't get hit, of course. And the nice thing about this is that, you know, being able to completely negate his special 3 is basically like being able to play aggressively like in Realm of Legends. So you can actually stack a lot of those infections on him. And the more infections you have on him, the more potent your power drain is going to be, which makes for a pretty interesting interaction if you ask me. I just thought it was pretty cool to see his power bar fluctuate like that. So now I'm thinking, okay, this fight isn't going too badly despite all the crazy power gain. Then I was about to play a bit more passively so I can drain him to 0 power. But then I mistimed my special 1 dex and it does clip me and does so much damage with all those poison debuffs on him, despite not being able to crit against Warlock when he has the armor buff on him. And then he throws a special 2 and I just block it like an idiot, forgetting that it will take me out. Because I'm just not used to dexing it, because generally when I fight this guy in war, since he is defensive, I just tend to block it and then punish without triggering stubborn. And also I just don't have that much experience fighting him, so I haven't really practiced the special 2 dex, so I just kind of blocked it instinctually. So yeah, first death of the season, just a little bit annoying, you know, just a bit, but fortunately at this stage we were looking very likely to win the war. So at least it didn't really make much of a difference, but yeah, still a little bit annoying because, you know, no one likes to die in war. So now I'm just going to revive and heal up Warlock and go back in and do this fight properly this time. So now you're going to see how this fight should have gone in the first place, which is very different to how it went previously. So I go in, I'm just going to parry to build the infections. And this is just so I can actually power drain him very early in the fight. And then from the get-go, I'm going to try to get an intercept. So yeah, 4 hits in, I get the intercept, and now I can do a good amount of damage. 6k mediums, not bad for a Warlock without suicides. Alright, so now the protection comes back, which purifies all debuffs and gets him back to the normal power gain. Then right after that, I can get a nice quick intercept, and then throw a big special 2. And it's already at 6%. Few more hits and he goes down. So yeah, compared to the first fight, how much easier did that look? That's what should have happened in the first fight, but I just didn't play it right and I had the slip up with the special 1 dex, which was the main problem because, you know, first rule of the game, don't get hit, and I just violated that rule and got punished for it pretty severely. But anyway, let's move on to the mini bosses, and first up I have this Mojo with Recovery, Indomitable, and Vigorous Assault. So I am going to use Archangel for this because he's pretty good at Mojos in general, as long as the nodes allow. And I do find Mojo relatively easy on this node compared to other placements I've seen him on, because he doesn't actually have any regen buffs, so you don't have to worry about Vigorous Assault at all in this fight, since all his regen is passive. But either way, Archangel can shut down regen pretty effectively with the neurotoxins. And yeah, you just parry heavy your way to victory. In fact, it's a very simple fight with Archangel. And I really do like using him for Mojos in general, because his special 1 does do a lot of hits, but not a lot of damage, so you can actually just parry or block most of it to stack a bunch of poison debuffs, if he's already bleeding of course, and then just heavy to convert them to neurotoxins. So Archangel's damage is going to be pretty phenomenal in this fight. As you can see, he goes down in about 45 seconds and 21 hits. Okay, so now we have one more fight which we're going to be using Falcon for, and that's going to be this thing with the best defense, Spry, brute force, and limber. So I am gonna heal him up to full just to be extra safe, because while I've already taken 1 L in this war and I just don't want to take another one. And once again, I decided to use the skill boosts because I wanted to see how much power he would get back against a rank 2 mini-boss when he has class advantage. And also, these are boosts that I seldom use since skill champs aren't really known for their special attack damage, so yeah, I wasn't really worried about wasting them. And now I do have Magneto's pre-fight ability from the White Magneto, so that means I have passive stuns, which means I can pretty much bypass Limba in this matchup. So yeah, fortunately an alliance mate was able to bring a White Magneto just for their pre-fight ability, because having that full parry stun duration just makes this fight a lot easier. Or at least you don't have to block so much to get those easy openings. So as you can see, when Falcon isn't locked on, his damage really isn't that great, you know, it's only when he's locked on that he gets a nice big crit rate from the Sig ability, and even without the Sig ability, he still gets a pretty decent attack bonus. As a rank 2 6-star, his attack goes up by 3,424 when locked on. So this is a fight where if I didn't have Falcon, I would probably be using Stealth Spidey for, but I think I prefer Falcon for it just because he can bypass pretty much everything that makes things annoying, and he can do it very quickly and very early in the fight. The slow debuff would prevent him from going unstoppable after getting hit from having 15 rock stacks, whereas Falcon would just prevent him from getting those rock stacks in the first place. So as long as he's locked on, the charges don't move. The other thing is when Falcon is locked on, he will also bypass things protection. It can still trigger sometimes, like when you parry, but you'll notice that the damage is not actually being reduced at all, which is pretty neat. The only downside to Falcon's ability accuracy reduction is that it does have a cooldown timer to it. Although it's not really that bad, I mean it's only 8 seconds and it does last for a fairly decent amount of time and it's very quick and easy to apply. At its base it lasts 14 seconds and with the Sig ability it's 16 seconds. Then against Science Champs it's an extra 40% duration, so it's about 22.5 seconds. So yeah, Falcon made this thing really easy just due to his ability accuracy reduction and the White Magneto pre-fight ability. Even when I was in a situation where I had to make him go unstoppable, just to avoid taking too much brute force damage, I still felt pretty safe or in control of the fight because I was able to bypass Limba with the passive stun. So yeah, I think they did a pretty good job with the Falcon rework. They made him a pretty useful champ without making him like too strong or broken or OP, you know. But now he does have some solid damage output and he can reliably and a bit more consistently shut down a lot of nodes and abilities now. Like Hazard Shift, he works pretty well for that node as well. So that's going to be it for this war. Then we just had the Manmouth Legend do the ghost thing against the Apocalypse boss with Hazard Shift on. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day and I'll see you soon.